Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday? It's Tuesday, right? I am here in Oakland, California. I'm back from our travels in Africa. We were in Africa for 3 weeks. We did 4 countries in 3 weeks, and I tried to answer all of your questions while we were gone. It was difficult. We didn't always have internet, and I'm here to answer any other questions you have. I had the most remarkable trip. We have fallen in love with many places we visited, and it was just absolutely incredible. Absolute dream come true. And it's really nice to be home. Thanks, Heather. It is so good to be home. There's nothing like coming home after you've been traveling. I don't know how people travel for more than 3 weeks at a time. Like, 3 weeks was actually a little long for me for a number of different reasons. I could have come home in about 2.5 weeks, but that's me. I'm a homebody, and even though I love to travel, I also love to be home. So yeah, thanks for letting me share all the pictures and videos. I have so much more to share, and I'm planning on continuing to share the videos and the photos of our trip. And yeah, the cats missed me, I'm sure, because the cats have not left my side since I've been home. But we had some really awesome caregivers who stay with our cats while we're gone, and they sent me pictures almost every day. So the cats were very happy. That's probably the most stressful thing about traveling, is making sure your companion animals are taken care of, and we never have to worry about that, or we certainly don't at this point, because we have some wonderful friends who stay at our house. I don't know how much longer they'll be around to do that, because not because they're going anywhere other than moving. That sounded ominous. I don't know how much longer they're going to be around, is not what I meant. But they're wonderful. We pay them, and they're wonderful. So we're very lucky. So we did not stress at all about the cats. And yet, since we've been home, the cats have not left my side. In fact, they've just been sleeping all day, and they just woke up. They're just waking up right now. Thank you. They're so cute. They are kind of the cutest cats. So yeah, so we're very happy to be home. I'm really excited that I've been hearing from a lot of you who are interested in visiting Rwanda. I can safely say that of all of the places we visited, Charlie, what's up? I definitely fell in love with Rwanda, and it's such an incredible country. It is so absolutely beautiful. So I don't know if you know, but the nickname for Rwanda is the land of 1,000 hills, because as you're driving around all over the place, north or south, you're just surrounded by all these green rolling hills. There were so many times when we were driving in Rwanda that people could easily have mistaken it for Italy. So when you're driving on these, kind of these mountain roads, you look beyond, and they're just these gorgeous rolling hills. People would absolutely mistake it for Italy, but it wasn't Italy. It's Rwanda, and it's green. And I said that they need to change their name from Milcolin, which is 1,000 hills, to 1,000,000 hills, to Million Colline, because it's absolutely beautiful. So if there's anywhere in Africa you're looking to visit, there's so many places obviously to go, and I'm a novice because I've only been there once now, but I feel like an expert because I fell in love with Rwanda, and I can't stop talking about it. So I can see us going back to Rwanda at some point, and I'm really excited that a lot of you are interested in going to Rwanda. Certainly, the gorillas, they're what drew us initially, the mountain gorillas, and Diane Fossey's work and the work that continues for the mountain gorillas. And that was a dream come true. So if you haven't seen my videos and photos of the mountain gorillas, then, go to my Facebook page below and go to Instagram, etc. But we were also drawn to the history of Rwanda, especially the recent genocide, which I say recent, it was 20 years ago, which sounds like a long time ago, but the effects of the genocide are still there all the time, and it should be, in the sense that nothing like this should ever happen again. And the Rwandan people are making sure it doesn't, and they're doing a number of things to ensure that. So being there and going to the genocide memorials, almost every town has a genocide memorial, and we went to 3, and it's tough. It's really rough. We've all read about the genocide, and to be there in the places that we had heard about in the books that we had read and the documentaries we had watched was an honor, was surreal, was harrowing, everything you can imagine when you learn about a genocide that took place only 20 years ago. Well, hello. So the resilience of the people is also something that was really appealing to me, and it's really attractive about Rwanda. The people are so sweet and kind and warm and absolutely beautiful. I know I'm making like a huge generalization, but I think the Rwandan people are some of the most beautiful people on the planet. And I really just kept just pointing out to Bridie when we were traveling. I'm like, look at his face, or look at her face. They're so incredibly beautiful. So the people themselves are beautiful. And yeah, not a perfect place. No place is, but I was really impressed. And so if you go to my YouTube channel, I did a little interview with Safari, who was our guide for the week. And I talk about the outfit we used, which was Amahoro Tours. The word Amahoro means peace in Kinyarwanda. And it was a wonderful outfit that I would recommend. So if you're interested in going, go check out that video. You can see me talk to Safari about the 3 national parks that Amahoro Tours serves, including the Volcanoes National Park, where we were up in the northern part seeing the gorillas. There's Akagera, which we haven't been to, that's in the eastern part or the western part of Rwanda, and that includes like safari animals, wild animals like giraffes and hippos and lions, etc. And then there is Nyungwe, which is south, and that is where we saw the chimpanzees, and it's just absolutely magical. The drive along the lake down to Nyungwe, it's about a 5 or 6 hour drive down to the southern part, and absolutely worth it. So I'm thrilled that you're interested in going to Rwanda, and I promise I won't keep gushing about it, but you might have to hear about it just a little longer. So if you have any questions for me about anything related to traveling in general, traveling anywhere in Africa, any questions about the food we ate, or the activities we did, or the animals we saw, please feel free to ask your questions. Since I've been home, I've been working really hard on animology, on the new podcast. So if you haven't subscribed to Animology, I highly encourage you to do so right now. I don't know if you can see Charlie. Charlie's right here. Can you see Charlie? He's right here. He's just so cute. He's just so cute. I can't stand it. It's just a baby. He's just a baby. He is. I highly recommend you do subscribe to Animology. Isaac says, I plan on visiting Africa. Became fascinated after I did my DNA search. Oh, right on, Isaac. Where did it come up that you were from in Africa? I assume there are parts of Africa. I have no DNA in Africa at all. I am sorry to say. But where did your DNA search take you? Be curious to know. MJ asked how we packed. I have to say, one of the things that was really annoying about this trip for me was the packing itself. So when we travel, David and I, wherever we go, we never check bags because we just hate waiting for the bags, and we just don't want the hassle of it. So we usually pack, sorry, I have like cat hair all over me now. We usually pack just a carry-on, and that's really fine for us. Even packing just a carry-on, even for a 2-week long trip, I always overpack. So we knew we were going to have laundry access. The camps that we stayed in Botswana, they do laundry for, well, not for free, we pay for it, but that's part of what you pay for is they do laundry for you. And we knew that we were in, you know, a major city in Kigali in Rwanda, that if we needed to give any laundry to a hotel, we could. I still overpacked. The thing that was annoying about this trip was because we were on so many small planes within Africa itself, so going from, oh my gosh, we went from Rwanda to down to South Africa, up to Botswana. We had all these little planes. We had to make sure that we had soft-sided bags, and I put this in the Botswana vlog I did, and I'll make sure it's out there on YouTube. I haven't put that out on YouTube yet. So we had these really good duffel bags slash backpacks, which are great for carrying around if you're just backpacking, but honestly really difficult when you're packing because all of the clothes are kind of pushed to the sides and you can't just open it and see very easily everything you have inside of it. So that was annoying, but we had to do that because of the small planes. We were afraid, we had to make sure we were within a certain weight and that they were soft-sided as well. So generally, we don't have to worry about that. And like I said, I still overpacked. I purposefully didn't bring my curling iron, which was, it sounds so stupid, but I really rely on my curling iron to tame my hair, to tame my mane. And it was very difficult not having my curling iron with me. So I didn't bring that. The shoes we brought hiking shoes because we were going to be hiking and we did use them. So I'm glad I had the hiking shoes. We brought flip-flops just because we knew we were going to be in warmer places, and my flip-flops were falling apart by the end of the trip. And then I also brought loafers with me. So I feel really good about the shoes we brought. I just packed 3 and that was absolutely sufficient. We brought mostly warm weather clothes. We had a sweater for when it got cool at night, but it really never even got very chilly. And yeah, what else? Yeah, so packing was par for the course for us because we usually pack pretty light, and still I overpacked. I brought way too many pairs of pants and yeah, way too many shirts. So live and learn. So Olivia said the photos you took of the food you ate looked wonderful. What was your favorite meal? I think the truth is our favorite meal had to have been, well, I'll speak for all of us, but I'll speak for myself. I don't know if you saw the video, but at the end of our Botswana, well, actually, we were in 2 different camps in Botswana. At the end of our stay in the first camp, it was so incredible. We went on a walking safari, and it didn't last very long because we were pressed for time because we had to catch the plane to go to the second camp, which was about 25-minute plane ride away. And so we're walking with our guide, Simon, and we're doing this walking safari, and we're all kind of looking at our watches and we're thinking, well, we have to go back for breakfast yet because we still have to eat before we hop on this other plane. And the next thing we know, we enter this grove and we see some other staff members there from the camp. They had tables set up for us. They had an entire breakfast in the bush for us, which was absolutely beautiful. And it was probably the best meal we had. Well, we had so many good meals, but it was maybe even more delicious because we were outside under the trees having breakfast in Botswana. And it was incredible. The outfit we used to actually book all of the safaris for us, because you need a US based company to book them, was called Robert Mark. And apparently Robert Mark had told the different outfits that we used, the camps, that David and I celebrated our 15-year wedding anniversary in November. So as a treat, that was a gift they gave us. Total surprise. It was beautiful. But yeah, I mean, everything we ate was just, they really made an effort, the camps did, to make sure that we weren't eating food that was inferior to what everybody else was eating. So we had some really sophisticated meals. We didn't just have, just a poor man's version of what everybody else was having. We had some really sophisticated meals. Now I'm pressed to think about exactly what they were. And that goes for when we were in the Gorilla Mountain Lodge as well. You saw some of that. I mean, there were times when almost everything we were eating was vegan. I mean, obviously everything we ate was vegan, but everything they were serving was vegan, and maybe they'd have like some meat crap as well. Our Christmas dinner down in Nyungwe, I think, was really special. The soups they made and the entrees they made were really special. You know, candlelight and wine, and it was really great. So, yeah, sorry, not being very specific, but like the meals were really memorable and delicious, and as I said, very sophisticated. Angela says, my dream is to go to Africa, and my concern was finding vegan-friendly food options, but you helped me relieve that worry. I'm so glad, Angela. And don't forget, we asked for what we needed. So we made sure we communicated to each one of the places we stayed that we were vegan, and we kind of, mentioned what that meant. And it was not an issue. When they wrote back, they were like, no problem, we've passed this on to the chef. And we're like, okay, do you need any more information than that? And they were all like, nope, we're all good, we're fine. So, so we didn't find anything that was inferior. When we stayed at the Marriott in Kigali, like the breakfast buffet was ridiculous. I mean, we were eating a lot of everything, because we had everything from fruits and salads to potatoes, mushrooms, a lot of beans. So the breakfasts were very, very British, especially depending on what country you were in, if they had been colonized by the Brits. So we had a lot of those breakfasts were, breakfasts of beans and tomato sauce and mushrooms and toast, etc. But also lots of fruit. So we were not starving by any stretch of the imagination, such that we've been eating so much more lightly since we've been home, because we ate a lot and we drank a lot while we were there. So it's pretty awesome. And see, I had something else. Olivia says, or what new to you food made you wish we had access to it in the United States? Oh, that's a good question. There were a lot of yams, true African yams in the different countries we were in, and that was fun. We definitely ate more yams than usual. But gosh, okay, so there was something called a tree tomato we had for the first time. Safari introduced us to the tree tomato in Rwanda. That was a unique fruit. Banana beer was a new experience. It's kind of like fermented. It's really more of a wine. It's like a fermented banana alcoholic drink. So that was new. That was something we had tried for the first time. More of a potable, not an edible, but that was fun. What else? I feel like there was a third thing that we tried for the first time. Oh, what would it have been? But everything else was really familiar. A lot of root vegetables and, like I said, mushrooms and beans. If there's anything else I can think of, I'll let you know. But we ate a lot of very familiar foods, but that were also, familiar to the African countries we were in. You know what was really funny? It was just funny. I just happened to miss tofu a lot while I was there. And it's not that I eat that much tofu when I'm home, but apparently enough that I really missed tofu. And I don't know if it was just missing kind of like a concentrated protein, because I didn't feel like I was in any way protein deficient, but I missed kind of maybe the meatier, textured foods, but not in a way that it was a complaint. It was just an observation. Yolandi says, why would you need to book safari through a U.S. company? I'm from Africa, U.S. citizen now, and you can call any resort. Yeah, I don't know what it was. My friend who organized all of the trip, I really don't remember the details because he was the one who organized it, but we had to go through, and maybe we chose to, I don't remember, but we went through Robert Mark, and Robert Mark is the one who, it was actually very convenient because Robert Mark, this is outside of Rwanda. This was, actually, was it? No, yeah, this was outside of Rwanda. In Rwanda, we booked through Amahoro Tours, and they did everything. They picked us up from the airport, they drove us around, they brought us down to the southern part of Rwanda. They were our guide, as you saw, Safari, if you go watch that YouTube video, was our guide the entire week. So we were with him all week long. By the time we got to Botswana, we used Robert Mark. And we had, like I said, we had a lot of small planes going from place to place, and they booked everything. So from the beginning of our trip in Botswana to the very end of that trip when we were heading to South Africa, and that included when we were going to Zimbabwe because we went to Victoria Falls, they handled all of the flight reservations. They handled all of the booking for this, camps. They did everything. So I don't remember why, but it was very convenient to do that. So Robert Mark is the outfit we used, and they're the ones who passed on the fact that we celebrated our 15-year anniversary. So we got some extra perks out of that. It was pretty cool. Lynn says, going to Kenya to see my parents next month. My first visit, so I'm really excited. Oh, that's awesome, Lynn. Fantastic. There's a wonderful sanctuary in Kenya. You maybe already know about it. It's called the David Sheldrick Foundation, and they do a lot of work rescuing orphaned elephants who are orphaned because of poaching or traps or injuries that the mother experiences. And so they rescue a lot of animals, and they then rehabilitate them and re-release them back into the wild. And you can adopt. I actually have an elephant that we adopt through them, and you can go visit. And it's pretty awesome. We haven't been there, but I know some friends who go there constantly. They go there every year, and they love it. So David Sheldrick Foundation, I think maybe it's called. Are many people there vegan? No, we did not meet a lot of locals who were vegan or vegetarian, although they were always so accommodating and so kind about it. And if you watch the video with Safari, you'll watch his experience. I asked him how it was for him to travel with 4 vegans for a week, and because he pretty much ate vegan the whole time he was with us, and he really enjoyed it. And everyone we talked to about it, whenever we talked to any of the guides or any of the trackers, they really understood, because these are people who are also bringing people around to see animals. And when we would tell them that we were vegan for compassion, they were really moved by it. There wasn't one person we talked to about it who wasn't moved by it, and it was really lovely. But we didn't meet any ethical vegans or vegetarians. But like I said, all of the food is very, very vegetable heavy. Rwandans do not eat a lot of meat. They'll eat it maybe once a week or so, or have it for special occasions, but grains and vegetables and legumes are a staple in Rwandan cuisine. So as I said, it was very easy to eat there. Janine, hi Janine, it's so good to see you here and to have gotten so much guidance from you while we were in Rwanda. I'm sorry you weren't there to enjoy it with us, but it was just a magical place, and we absolutely fell in love with it. I was about to ask the tofu tempeh question. It's hilarious. I miss it too at some point, and also good homemade salad dressing. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's funny I miss tofu, but we were fine without it. It was just something I was aware of, like, could really do with some tofu right now. Oh, good, Lynn. So yeah. Okay, well, maybe next time you're there. MJ said, who took the pictures of the mountain gorillas? Did you use your phone or camera equipment? Yeah, that was me on my phone. Like, so all of us used our phones. None of us had a special camera. I was going to borrow a friend's camera. In fact, I had borrowed a friend's camera, and before I left, I gave it back to him because I just didn't want the weight and the responsibility, weight in both senses of the word, with me in traveling all around. And I'm really glad I didn't bring it. We had bought a lens for my iPhone, which just screws onto the back of the camera. It's a special attachment. It's by, is it Memento? I can't think of the name of the company right now. Something like that. I'll remember. And it gives you like a 2x zoom. I didn't use it a lot for the gorillas because we were so close to the gorillas, we didn't need a zoom lens, but it definitely came in handy when we were in the safari for taking photos of animals who were farther away, and I got a little bit of a zoom. Of course, you can zoom in using your iPhone or your Android or what have you, but I got a little better quality zoom when I used that lens, and it was really convenient. So if you're looking for something like that to supplement your iPhone, I recommend it. But we were fine with our iPhone. We were so close to the gorillas in a positive way, in a way that didn't make me feel uncomfortable. I mean, you know, for their sake. I certainly didn't feel uncomfortable at all being that close to them. And they seemed completely fine and acclimated to humans being as close to us as they were. But we never needed a zoom lens. I mean, there was a time where there was a baby, one of the baby gorillas was like right here, climbing down on the, on the vines right here. I mean, like he was right here. And then when some of them climbed down off the vines, like they were like this close. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Um, yeah, and we just happened to be taken to see a very special group. Apparently, it's the group that everybody wants to go see, and I do believe that Safari arranged this for us. He really made sure we had a very special experience, and I think he went early to talk to the park rangers to see if we could get that special group. And it's special because I think I mentioned that the silverback had gone into Uganda, and they didn't know if he was going to come back. And when he came back with several females, and several of them were pregnant, and one of them had baby. And so there's like this group of 20 of them, and they were just a huge range of ages. And turning the corner and happening upon the silverback was a surreal experience, and seeing the little 2-month-old breastfeed and the little 2-year-old tumble and play, it was just an absolute joy, and I could have spent the rest of my life right there in that spot. So it was pretty awesome. And then one of the things, it was very sweet. I'm sure that he says it to every group he has, but our guide, in Rwanda, when we went to the gorilla track, he made sure I met, what was his name? What the heck was his name? I'm blanking on his name. A guide who was a porter for Diane Fossey, obviously when she was alive. So I'm sure that guy tells whoever they have, whoever he has for his group all the time. But I didn't know it because he wasn't our guide for our group. And so Safari knew how special it was for me to be there, having been inspired by Diane Fossey's work. So he made sure I met, is it Jacques? I can't remember his name now. It's a French name, the guide. And I'll show you a video of that. My friend Bridie took the video of us talking, and he was very kind and very sweet, and it was really lovely. So we had a pretty special time in Rwanda. And I feel like I'm neglecting the golden monkeys. We also saw the golden monkeys. It's really beautiful, unique little primate who just were just so adorable. And in both cases, in all of these cases, these animals are losing their habitat. That's the biggest threat, especially in Rwanda, because poaching isn't an issue unless they go into Uganda or Congo, but habitat loss is a big issue. So they're working hard on trying to preserve and expand the forests for the mountain gorillas and for the golden monkeys before it's too late, because that's really the biggest threat is human population and farms and agriculture infringing upon their natural habitat, the forests. So whatever we can do to ensure that, if you have a little extra money at the end of the month every month, I really, really do believe that rewilding and habitat preservation is key to saving so many species. So that's something that I feel really strongly about, and it's one of the areas where I'm putting my money is into habitat restoration and rewilding. So I'm heartened by it, but still it was very sad. But the golden monkeys were just adorable. I'm really glad we got to see them. And then the chimpanzees down in southern Rwanda was pretty incredible. If you haven't seen the video, we just happened to capture at this moment the chimpanzee climbing down this tree that had all these, it was a very singular trunk, and there weren't a lot of branches off of it. So I have this video, and I wish I had caught him from when he started climbing down from high, but I caught him as he was climbing down, watching this chimpanzee. I mean, it was several yards away, but still being able to hear their sounds and just see chimpanzees jumping from tree to tree and leaping all around was surreal, and we had to work really hard to see the chimpanzees. So there was something a little more rewarding almost with the gorillas. The group that we had happened to be pretty close to the edge of the forest. So we walked maybe about an hour through farmland until we got into the forest, and there was this really amazing group. We didn't have to work very hard. There's some groups who will tell you that it took them hours and they couldn't find anybody, and by the time they found the group, there weren't that many there. We had a pretty easy time. With the chimpanzees, we were climbing up and down the mountainside. Like it was treacherous and difficult and steep and exhausting, and I loved every minute of it because we had to work really hard to see the chimpanzees. So it was very special. And have I mentioned that I love Rwanda? So that's all I have to say. It was pretty awesome. And we haven't even gotten to Botswana. Like, that was amazing to see the lions, the giraffes. I think the moment I saw a giraffe was was the first time, at least when we were in Botswana, that I vocally gasped because I'd never seen a giraffe before. I went to the zoo when I was a little girl, but that was many, many years ago. And I don't remember ever seeing a giraffe, and I certainly don't go to the zoo now, and there are not a lot of sanctuaries that have giraffes. So I'm trying to remember if I saw any giraffes in my life. Seeing a giraffe in the wild was awe-inspiring, and I was taken aback seeing the giraffes. I could tear up thinking about it. So that was probably like seeing the lions was amazing, but I think seeing the giraffe was the oh my God, that's a massive animal, and they look so prehistoric, and watching them move is just incredible. So I think that was the moment that I will never forget was looking up and seeing a giraffe for the first time. Your photos and videos are amazing. It was so emotional to watch them. I can imagine I would be sobbing with emotion if I saw that wildlife in person. I'm actually tearing up right now, MJ, just thinking about it, just talking about it. It was really special. I feel really lucky to have gone there. See, I'm getting weepy. And yet I sit here with a cat on my lap, and that makes me weep as well. But yeah, and I feel pretty excited when I see wildlife outside my window. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, I see a squirrel, and I'll be like, "Oh, David, look. And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "It's a squirrel." And he's like, "Yep, same squirrel I saw about 10 minutes ago." But I'm in awe of wildlife, and I am in awe of us being able to be close enough to it to share the space together and to provide a safe place for them. So I get pretty excited about all the wildlife in my vicinity right here, and seeing another country's wildlife we don't have here, was really an honor, was really special. So, and especially animals who may be extinct by the time I die. I mean, that might be the case for some of the animals we're talking about, sadly. And so I feel like it was a privilege, not a right. And it's a privilege we paid for, and we were happy to pay for it. And if our dollars go toward their conservation at all, then it was money well worth spending. Yeah, I get excited to see squirrels. I love it. Oh, you're so sweet. I don't think I'm different than many people who feel this way. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being naive, but there are a lot of people who go and want to see this wildlife. Not everybody who goes wants to kill them. It was really funny when we were on the plane going to Botswana, when we were flying from Johannesburg to Mon in Botswana. My friend Bridie said, "Do you think on this plane there are a lot of people here who are like going to hunt? Some of them are going to go hunt the animals." Well, Botswana, it's illegal to hunt. So none of the people on the plane were going. And I said, no, I really think, I think more people are interested in seeing the animals than killing them. And that was certainly the case. And as I said, the fact that Botswana has outlawed hunting is really heartening. Zambia has outlawed hunting. Kenya, I believe, has outlawed hunting. And there's a lot of countries that have outlawed hunting. And I think that that's going to continue. I really think it's going to continue. April says, I've been so excited following your journey. You're so sweet, April. I know you have been. You're just lovely. Glad you're back safe and sound. Thank you for sharing your special moments. My pleasure. And if you have any other questions, let me know. I promise I won't dominate all of our live Facebook broadcasts with Talk of Africa, but it's still so recent. Thank you, Kim. I know you're never going to get on a plane to go, so you're just going to have to live vicariously through me. But I hope you've seen some of the photos, because yeah, you would have plotzed seeing these animals. It was pretty incredible. You would have plotzed seeing these baby gorillas. It was pretty amazing. And yeah, I guess that was how long ago when I was talking to you about taking this trip. It was pretty awesome. I know. I have to say, you don't want to get on a plane at all. I obviously don't mind flying. You don't like flying at all. But coming home was brutal. It was pretty brutal coming back from South Africa. It was a 9-hour flight from Cape Town to Dubai, and it was a 16-hour flight from Dubai to San Francisco. And I really had to psych myself up for it. It was rough. And I could see why people would split up that trip and stay, like fly to Paris or something and stay overnight in Paris or Frankfurt, somewhere in Western Europe, which is one of the legs you can do. But we didn't. We took a 9-hour flight, and then we had like maybe a 2-hour layover and got back on a plane, and 16 hours on a plane. Definitely the longest I've ever been on a plane, especially having just flown 9 hours. Because 9 hours is about how long it takes for us to go from San Francisco to like London. It's like a 9 or 10 hour flight. And, you suck that up. You can do it. I stay awake. Doesn't bother me. You do it enough and it doesn't faze you when you do it again. But taking a 9-hour flight and then taking a 16-hour flight after that, where there's a lot of children on the flight and you're not in first class, it was brutal. But I mean, whatever. I mean, brutal is probably an exaggeration. It was really rough, and we did it. We did it. The last couple hours, I was losing it. I would nod off. And then they would bring us food. They kept feeding us. Like, I would finally nod off, and then they would bring us more food. And I'm like, oh my God, I just want to sleep for a little bit. So we would just go in and out of sleep. I watched a lot of movies. I read a lot. I actually read Trevor Noah's book called Born a Crime, which I recommend. If you don't know anything about South Africa, if you don't know anything about apartheid, if you like Trevor Noah, whatever the reason, I highly recommend it because it gives you a really good perspective of what apartheid was like and what post-apartheid is like, and it's a really good read. It's a fast read, and I highly recommend it. So I finished a Thomas Hardy novel while I was gone, and I read the Trevor Noah book, but I'm really glad. And I have to say, as much as I've been raving about Africa, not going back anytime soon. I don't want to take any more long trips for a while. Although the next trip you're going to hear about, and maybe I'll segue into our goodbye, is we're doing a walking tour, or whatever you want to call it, a hiking, walking trip to the Highlands in Scotland in July. And because we're going to be there anyway, I might do an event, just a 1-day long event in London. So if you're in London, if you're interested, drop me an email. It's going to be just a 1-day event. I'll be doing a couple workshops. It'll be on compassionate living, compassionate communication, advocacy, and I think it's going to be my compassion immersion retreat version of it this time in London, whereas last year it was in Oakland. So since I'm going to be there anyway, I'm looking into possibly doing it. I just have to see what it would entail, if I can find an affordable place, and et cetera, and if there's enough interest. So if you're in the UK and you're interested, let me know. Yeah, Nikki, we've been to Scotland a couple times. We do love Scotland. We haven't really been to the Highlands. We've been to Edinburgh and Glasgow and drove through the Trossachs. But we haven't been in a lot of the Highland area, so it's going to be a walking trek. So we'll basically be walking about 10 miles a day, 10 to 15 miles a day, and then stopping in little towns and sleeping and eating and drinking, and then walking another 10 to 15 miles a day. So we're just basically walking through the Highlands for about, I think it's about an 8 or 9 day trek. And this is also with Bridie and Seb, our very good friends. And these are the friends we will be, we're hosting our trip to Thailand with. So if you're coming to Thailand with us, that'll be in October. That's going to be a really wonderful trip. We're officially sold out, although we just got a cancellation and we have a couple people on the waiting list. So we'll see what happens once we invite people to pay their full amounts, which is non-refundable. But at this point, we're sold out of our Thailand trip. And I will stop talking about traveling because I just said that I don't want to get on a plane again. And that's the truth, at least today. Inverness, we're not going to Inverness. We might be. It depends. We're choosing between a couple of the different walks, and one goes to Inverness and one does not. The one that we're looking at starts up in the North Sea, and it goes through, what's the national park there? It has a lot of variety of landscapes. Michiko! Hi, bubbies! What you doing? Michiko! It's been pouring here since we got home, which has been absolutely wonderful. I love it. It's been wonderful to have no excuse to leave my house. I've sent applications for my TED Talk to 4 different TEDx events, so keep your fingers crossed. Hoping to hear from one of them and make this happen. One of them is actually in London, and one's in Kent, and a couple are in the US. So keep your fingers crossed for me. In the meantime, please go subscribe to Animology. I also put out the inauguration episode on the Food for Thought podcast, and I'm going to be doing that a couple times to just ease you into the new podcast. So go check it out. I don't want to hear any excuses. And tomorrow I'm going to release another one. So even though I'm asking people to please contribute to Animology to reach the goal so that I can have the Animology podcast out at least once a week, I'm actually going to be putting them forward more than once a week until we get the momentum, and then we'll go from there. But I've got lots to share with you. So thank you, everybody, for your time, and I'm going to go get some dinner ready for my hubby and feed my kitties, and then get back to work. Thanks, MJ. Thank you for listening. MJ has done what I have requested, so if you could all please go and do what MJ did. Follow MJ's lead. Go subscribe to Animology. Download the episodes that are already up there. Tomorrow I'm going to be releasing another one. I'm going to actually put the Zodiac episode out tomorrow, so go enjoy the 4 episodes that are up there already. I'm really excited to hear what you think about it, because I haven't really heard much feedback from you. So let me know what you think. Thanks, Beverly. Hello, Megan. Goodbye. And have a good night. Thanks for watching For the Animals. This is Colleen Patrick-Goudreau. Thank you, Rosie. Oh, boy. I have to end with Michiko because she's being a cutie patootie. You ready? You ready? Hold on. What are you doing, Michiko? Are you showing off for everybody? Ugh. She just jumped up on the fireplace like a little show off. Like a little show off she is. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What is that? What is that? What are you doing? You good job. Give me that ball. Give me that ball. Give me. You have fans, Michiko. You have many fans. You have many fans. Don't you give me that. You just give me that. Get it. Get it. You get it. Get it. She's a show off. She is. She is a show off. How are you gonna jump down? How are you gonna jump down? Get it, Michiko. And then we have Charlie being a cutie patootie. I don't even realize I do my cat voice, but I can't help it because it's just cuteness. There's cuteness all over the place. Get up, Michiko. You're not supposed to eat that, Michiko. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, don't you rub on that. Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna go. Say goodbye.